been there before.
What y'all know about growing up in Brick City and shit pretty? Hit a lick, celebrate just to keep busy. Kids dying, mama's crying, the devil's busy. Talk shit, get shot and end up missing.
What's going on, my great people? Thanks for tuning in to the Straight to the Point podcast. It's your boy Kane and this shit.
This is your boy Young Cupid.
And today, we'll be discussing the topic of trauma. And let's get right into this motherfucker. So trauma, it's a fucked up thing people experience, whether it's, because of childhood experiences, whether it's something they face with adults or failed relationships or maybe even a death or some shit. It could go, a lot of distances. And I feel like some people need to learn how to handle that situation. Perhaps, maybe. I don't know if you ever had experience with trauma or some shit.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely got to you got to attack it straight on. You know what I mean? Like whatever you expect. For example, if you have a childhood trauma of some people are scared of dogs because they had a experience where a dog bit them.
Yeah.
And you just got to overcome it. Just pet the dog. He's a good dog. Not all dogs are like that.
Yeah.
I know of many people who are scared of certain animals or just different things just because it happened once, but you just gotta attack. Trauma is similar to a fear,
Yeah, I would say trauma and fear go hand in hand. I guess it's kind of an emotional response to a previous situation that happened, and like you said, the only way to overcome it is to actually deal with that situation, and eventually you'll surpass that mental block in your head and shit like that.
No, most definitely. I feel like it alters your decision making. If it's a more serious thing, not necessarily dogs, but if it's a more serious type of trauma, for example, a girl was beaten by her ex-boyfriend. Mm-hmm. That's gonna alter the way she thinks. The simplest high in a hug can go for her 0 to 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To her, right, just touching her can trigger
Set her
something.
off,
It could just trigger something, and that's not necessarily her fault, but it alters the way you think. Same thing with girls that are always they're very closed off in a relationship because they've been cheated on before.
Yeah.
That happens, especially now. It's it's very common, that type of barrier to be in there.
Yeah, I think it's pretty upsetting that, people even have to come to that type of situation. Because that's, like you said, it's a fucking game changer right there. I don't know, it's very hard to deal with shit like that. I don't understand, why people are so hesitant to maybe pursue that next step, because that shit hits you deep. So, I understand that shit. I guess, taking step by step, day by day is the only way to overcome that shit.
People who, example, for kids in school, elementary school especially, if people have been bullied in elementary school, that carries over to when they're older. If they weren't, I don't want to say fixed, but if they weren't properly shown how to deal with that.
Well, I guess with kids and that, they were brought up to think in that sense that, I'm not accepted by society and shit like that. They're always being put down. And unfortunately, they can't be themselves because of how rejected they feel. And that shit, it's crazy how, shit in your childhood carries over to your, how you feel over in adulthood. If you carry these negative experiences, it's going to continue to carry with you until you defeat that or whatever the fuck. It fucking sucks, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, even, I can even give, an experience, especially recently when I've done one I told you about that I've dealt with.
Yeah. And,
whoever's listening to this, who went to middle school with me, they're gonna know. You didn't go to Colonial Middle School?
Nah, bro, I haven't know.
This has been I've just recently started talking about it again. That's what I talked about with my fraternity brother. Shout out to Pi Chapter. But in that 7th grade, I went to school. I had a stomach virus, and my mom, she made me go to school. So obviously I had to go to school, and it was 7th period. I think there's 8 periods in middle school, right?
I think so, yeah.
7th period hit. No, 8th period hit. I'm sorry, 8th period hit, my last class of the day. And I rushed to the I put my books down. And I went to the bathroom before it even started. And before I entered the stall, shit just came out of my eye. No jokes. I just shit myself right there. And I stayed in the bathroom for 15 minutes trying to clean it up. You know what I mean? But I just went to my class. And when I went to my class, it was everyone just stopped and was what the fuck's that smell? And I didn't know what to say. I was just quiet. And then the teacher, I guess he knew something was up. But he was just go back to the bathroom. And when I got up, I guess there was something on the seat, and when I went to the bathroom to try to clean up, I came back and the seat that I was in was all the way to the left and everyone was on the right. And like from that day, obviously everyone knew what happened. I was bullied like bad, you know, like very, very bad. Like where teachers were watching me, I had to get counseling every day. And like I was suicidal. Like I almost killed myself probably a week after that. I went to Pennsylvania high school, Pennsylvania elementary school, school 27, near this Colonial Firehouse, and I was about to slit my throat right there. And that was all from a childhood trauma, and that affected me until now. There's certain things I can't address, like communication. Like that was just, I've been dealing with that for so long, but recently, last week is when I finally first like talked about it openly. And like when I talked about it, I broke down because that's been like such a fear. So like if you were one of those kids who bullied me, I really hope that you do listen and know that like till this day, I'm 21 years old. It happened when I was 12. That has been that's affected me for this long, and I finally started to overcome it. But like that's a trauma. Like, you know, there's people who had it worse, people who had it easier, but that's definitely a trauma I've dealt with. It just what people like I saw my friends, you know, quote unquote, they turned on me too, just because everyone else was. So now I'm very cautious with who I surround myself with, who I open up to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So like for me, that's like a personal story of me. You know what I mean? Like all, you know, whether you're listening to this, you could judge me if you want, but that took me over almost 10 years to finally open up about. So, you know, that's me.
That's fucking nuts. I'm glad you took that step though, bro.
Nah, I'm definitely taking a step. I don't know about therapy yet, but it definitely helped talking about it because I feel like, you know, there's a like weight off my shoulder, but there's always some more progress. There's more I have to dig into myself, like deep into to let out, but yeah, that's definitely a good step. Like when I talked about it on Friday, I couldn't say it without constant. I was crying when I was talking about it, but like now, you know, I'm doing better speaking about it. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man.
Yeah,
I know how much shit could like really affect you when you have that shit bottled up for years. Like, yeah, it impacts you. Like,
and that was such like a young age. Like if that happened to me when I was older, maybe I would have, like if I was in high school at least. But like I was in 7th grade, I was vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like that's like a time where that's when you begin figuring yourself out. You know what I mean? You don't really figure yourself out till you're 20 something years old.
Even if you're mentally strong, just to like experience everyone like
against
talking
you.
Shit about you, yeah. And,
nah,
like,
it was.
I've
never felt so alone. And like I would come home and just act like I was okay because I don't want people to worry about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you have to bottle stuff up, that was years of stuff bottled up. I finally like let out. So, you know, definitely if you're dealing with trauma, you gotta let that out. Like, to, you know, because a lot of people don't go to therapy because, you know, that's why I don't know the person. You know what I mean? Like, in my mind, they're judging me. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's always, even if you don't go to therapy, you should be able to talk to somebody about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And like, there's so many people I could have talked to about it. It just when I talked about it, it just happened to come out. You know?
Yeah. Time where their value will matter to you, whether or not you know that. That's just how life works. Everyone has their fucking trials and tribulations, bro. That's why I'm always careful about who the fuck I keep myself around too. Like, keep around myself. Like, you gotta have good people around you because once you have those good vibes, they'll keep building and building off that. And when a bad vibe happens while you're down and they're still in a good moment, they could bring you right back from where the fuck you down at, and they bring you right back up. Like, that's why you gotta surround yourself with good people. That's just how shit works. Like, that's why if you got this trauma shit, like, you gotta find some way to escape. You can't be trapped because all it's gonna do is hurt you.
Yeah, like, you just gotta attack it. Like me opening up, that was my first step. But other people, there's different steps they could take. They don't have to, you know. That's to a lot of people, like, that's a big step. You know, that's like 0 to 100 for some people. But whatever it is, it could be like some people. Like I grew up without a father, and that affected me, you know. But like just some people they're traumatized because they have a single parent. Yeah. So when the day of like Mother's Day or Father's Day come, they're just scared. Like they're not scared, but they're like alone. I guess I don't know. I don't know what I'm like how I'm trying to say, but they're like more alone. So there's just certain things. There's like different things you could do to take that first step. Like my first step is not your first step. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And that's I think when people miss it. Like they try to read, oh, what's the first step to overcoming this? And it's like you can't really research your first step or how to deal with your trauma because your trauma is not like anybody else's. It might be a similar situation, but it's never the same.
Yeah, there's not like one set of guidelines for everyone. Like that's just not how shit works. Like yeah, you say figure out your own way.
Yeah, like I feel like best for you. I feel like when people are like when you first meet somebody and you wonder why they're off. Like I find I do it a lot, but I sometimes I immediately judge them, and I feel like us as just humans, maybe it's not in our nature, but I feel like we just gotta think about all right, maybe they've been through or they're going through something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't like for me, I don't personally believe in like first impression shit, because when you first meet someone, you know, that person can be nervous or like however the fuck. Like, they're not gonna. Whenever you meet a person initially, they usually aren't really themselves unless they're comfortable with themselves. But most people aren't. They're always worried about their image and how they perceive themselves. So that's why I feel like after like, you know, 2-3 times, then eventually you could get like the vibe off them about what the fuck they really about. Because like I said, I don't think really anyone's like themselves when you first meet them.
Yeah, no.
You really gotta have like confidence in yourself and shit like that right off the bat to really like show who the fuck you are.
Yeah, like a lot of people you meet them, you're like if I meet somebody, I'll be like, oh, he's quiet. Then I'll be like, yo, the person you brought around, they're quiet. And they're like, what the hell, no? Like, it's never like that. It's just because it's your first time meeting him. But I don't know. Trauma goes a long way. Like, it really affects people until like adulthood. Like, a lot of people base their decisions off of
previous experience.
And trauma isn't like necessarily like, it doesn't have to be that severe. It just has to be an experience that has altered your thinking. Mm-hmm. In my personal opinion, like it could be something as simple as you didn't get a job, so that altered the way you do an interview and like that how you conduct yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's exactly. Not necessarily a negative thing. Most of the time, I mean, it's correlated to be negative, but there's I guess positive trauma. But
I feel like anything negative that occurs in your life, it's all about how you deal with that. You can always turn something bad to good. It's all about what you do with that experience. It can either make you stronger or make you weaker. It's your choice. What the fuck are you gonna do with it?
No.
That's really what shit comes down to. Like, people try to make life all complex and shit. It's really some simple ass shit, bro. It's really not as deep as y'all niggas think it is. Y'all just overthink and get too much call into your emotions too much. Like, once you have a clear mind, it's crazy how much you can operate life in a better way. Yeah, you know what to do, what the next step is. I may be here, but I know what to do to get here. Like, that's just how shit is. It's not no fucking maze or some shit.
I just think that trauma, like, I think it affects people more
when
they're at such a young age where they can't understand it. Like, I was 12 and I didn't understand. Like, I understand why people were against me.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand why it was just so repetitive. Why, like, everyone just, like, people I didn't know were just, like, saying stuff. I was like, what? Like, I don't know you. You know what I mean? I never seen you.
Well, I guess one issue is, too, with kids, especially nowadays, is, like...
Kids are harsh.
Yeah, like, they think it's funny for them. They, like, get enjoyment out of it without realizing the effect.
It's not even their fault. I don't want to necessarily blame...
Like, it is their fault. They know what's good and bad.
Blame them. I do blame them. But I also blame their parents. I think there's a lot, like... I'm 50-50 because I blame them. Like, there's, to this day, a lot of them I'm still mad at. And, like, if they ever came to me something, like, don't even ask me. That's how I feel about, like, a lot of them. Yeah. Like, people come up to me when I was sitting at lunch and they would say, like, something to me, like, out of nowhere, like, even months after it passed. I'm just, like, I'd sit there, like, embarrassed. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. Certain people I'll never, like, I don't want to say never. I definitely don't forgive now. But some of them, I knew it wasn't, I mean, yeah, they're assholes for doing it. They really, like, they fucked me up mentally for it, but it's just, at that age, you're trying to follow a crowd. That's what we're taught to follow a wave, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. That's, so I blame them, but I blame a lot more than that. I blame the school system for not doing enough. I think they could have done a lot more. They could have, like, not even talking to me, they could have stopped it, you know what I mean? Well, yeah. As best as they could. I blame the parents for not teaching them to not, you know, say, like, I don't know, I'm not a bullier, you know what I mean? Like, mm-hmm. But because I set myself up to try to be some serious person that, like, I'm serious in some ways, but I love to laugh, like, you know what I mean?
Like, I definitely know, like, parents play a part in kids' lives, but I feel like for the most part, a person is their own person. Like, your parents can tell you to the day you dead, do not smoke weed, but you still have that choice, and that some people will pick up that fucking blunt. They really can't stop you from doing that, because they're not gonna dictate your life unless they're really some assholes. So I feel like, in a sense, that these kids should be held to their own, like, responsibility.
I definitely hold them accountable.
Yeah.
I definitely, you know, I think everyone who like participates to someone else's, like, negative trauma and experience, they definitely are held accountable. But I also feel, not all of them, but some of them also, you have to look at the bigger picture and what they're dealing with. You know what I mean? I feel what you're saying. People are definitely accountable, but I feel like other people could be accountable for them. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think so, because that's
for example, racism.
Yeah.
A lot of kids they're taught racism,
but that's, like, a different thing. Like, the parents didn't tell them, go bully this kid. That's their action they decided to make.
But
they
no, I'm saying, like,
that.
I even know people now to this day. Like, someone I know personally, I'm not going to say his name on this, but he's even told me, he's like, my father's racist, so now I think like that. And, like, do you blame him or do you blame his father? And I don't want to put a blame on either, but it's like there's situations like that where, like, you're around a certain environment, and that environment teaches you to be that way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, for example, when Trump became president, you saw the racism in a lot of people. And then you got to think, is it them or is it people before them?
Yeah.
But then again, you also have your own mind. You should know what's right or wrong, but not everyone wants to fight for what's right. You know what I mean? They want to be wrong because it's easier to be wrong.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of sides to one person, but yes, they're definitely accountable. But I feel like there's also more to it. That's what I guess I'm trying to say.
Potentially, I just think the whole bullying shit is that, like, something that's what kids usually do because I mean they usually know better is just to fit in, like you said. That's kind of why they do it. Yeah. That's why I'm pretty sure their parents are not saying, "Yo,
go bully that kid."
Not even that. Like, fit in with the people around you. They're not saying that. It's kind of their choice. They're like, oh, I realized I could do this to act cool and put down this one person because that's what everyone else is doing. Yeah. That's kind of, it's not really that deep, I think, that situation. With racism, yeah, I think that situation's deep. But this time, I don't think it is. Yeah. It's just them being fucking dumbasses and not really caring about another human being.
No, it was a rough time, but...
Yeah, I think they're...
Like, but there's definitely kids who go through worse, like, no one ever... punch me in the face out of nowhere, like I wasn't bullied physically, just mentally, but I feel like at the same time mentally is as bad as physically.
I think mental abuse is worse than physical abuse because you can recover physically with no problem, but mentally that's very hard to recover from.
There's like kids, I mean, don't get me wrong, there has been kids I put down, but I've tried to, at least if I've seen them again, like especially within the past couple of years, like the one that passed away last year, Neil.
Oh yeah,
he used to get bullied heavy, like ridiculously heavy, and I was a part of it at one point, but there was like a couple years went by and I talked to him. I was like, I can't repair what I've done, like, what I've said to you and all that, but I was like, I am sorry. And like I'm not saying that made it right, but I definitely acknowledge that I was wrong.
Yeah, at least
you know what I mean.
You took that step to like
I told him, I was like, my bad. I made that choice, but it wasn't the right choice. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things you're trying. Everyone was bullying him, so I was like, all right, fuck it, it's my turn now. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't definitely as bad as other people. Like, he used to get, him. If you ever seen him or heard about him, he got it bad.
Nah, I didn't really know much about him, to be honest.
But he got bullied bad. But like anybody from Colonial High School, if you're like, you got like Colonial High School was we breeded a lot of fucked up people. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people went to that school, they are fucked up. Like in the sense of how they treat others, completely fucked up. Like, and I really hope they listen to this because you are fucked up. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's their fault, but you have to look at the bigger picture. So I'm gonna try to give all of them the benefit of the doubt that maybe that's just who they were trying to be, and that's not who they are. But after years of seeing it, that's who you become.
Like, I was so out of tune in high school. I was kind of my own world. I've always been like that. I think even the people that know me know that. Like, I operate as my own self. So I didn't really realize that. But that's pretty unfortunate if that's really the case. And I hope you guys could, see the bigger picture and know what the fuck's better. Like, it's just common sense, what's good and bad. Which side are you gonna fucking choose? Yeah. Like, don't be a dickhead. Be a lit ass nigga.
Trauma's a lot of the reason though. People don't like last episode we talked about school and stuff like that. People don't follow what they really want to do because they want to go the easier. Like, I don't want to say easier because school is, there's a lot of work that's put when you're in school. Yeah. But people go that route because it could be, like, trauma doesn't have to be necessarily, like, with me, it wasn't physical. It's just what some people were saying to me. Someone could have told them that they're not going to be able to do what they want. Like, a lot of people like to want to go into music. I'm not even talking about, like rapping or singing. Like, they want to play an instrument. Yeah. And their parents are like, well, you're not going to make money. So now that one sentence traumatized them to follow a different path. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's to the subject of trauma, there's many routes, many subjects within it. It's just so broad.
Yeah, it's like an endless fucking hole of shit that could conflict your mind.
Like, I feel like if anybody's listening, like, if there's like an area of trauma you feel like we should touch or you want to touch, like we're open to, giving you a voice. Yeah. I want to say, we're for the people, for real. Like, if you have something going on that we're not discussing, I hope we're helping, but you know, this podcast is to give us a voice, and maybe those who they're not strong enough to give themselves a voice, to help them give them a voice. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We're willing to speak for anyone. Like, we don't want to be closed-minded, and perhaps maybe we're wrong on certain shit. Just let us know. Like, we're not gonna be dickheads and talk shit and talk down at you because they were contradicting exactly what the fuck we're saying in this episode. So like, speak your mind. We'll speak for you. We hope we are speaking for you, and we hope we can have a same level of understanding. That's how we could become better people in this society.
We are all equal.
Of course. Ain't no fucking all these titles and shit. It's all fucking illusion and shit, bro, to make it seem like you got more power or wherever the fuck, man. Yeah. Like, you're a human being. You're a human being. There we go. That's it. It's as simple as that.
Same. We all bleed the same, literally.
Just because you got a badge, just because you're the fucking president, it really. I mean,
I don't believe in hierarchy. I believe in respect in a sense, but I don't believe in hierarchy.
Well, we kind of create that hierarchy in a sense because we give them the power. If we said fuck it, well, let's have a revolution, nigga, you couldn't get the fuck down. Shit gonna go down. Like we have the ability to construct what the fuck's around us. Whether or not you guys realize that. Like, literally, humans change the world on a daily basis. You could be that motherfucking human. Straight up facts. And every day with the interactions you have with people are changing the world in some way or another. You're influencing people on a daily basis.
No, that one hello, how are you? Whatever.
Exactly. You could change a person's life in an instant.
Yeah, the people they're not aware, but I mean, you can't always be aware of what you're going to change. You know, you're not aware of the person you're talking to all the time. Like, at work, you meet somebody, like a customer where I work. Yeah. I don't know who they are, but the simple, like me acting nice. Like yesterday, I've been helping this lady out for like a week, and don't get me wrong, she was complicated as fuck with what she wanted. Yeah. But at the end, she was like, I want to speak to your manager. She talked to him, and she was like, she complimented me. She was like, I love him. And I was like, word. That, I felt good. I'm just, depending how you are with me is how I react back to you in most scenarios, but.
Like, I don't know. I try to handle situations with, like, a positive way. Like, I'd never try to put negativity out there because I feel like that's what you'll get back. Whatever you put out in this world is what the fuck you'll get back. That's why if you're doing bad shit and bad shit keeps happening to you, it's because, nigga, you fucking up somewhere or another. Yeah. Unless you just have terrible luck, then I'm sorry, man. Hopefully shit works out for you or a woman. Like, you get through that shit somewhere or another. Just keep a positive mindset. That's really key.
Positivity and always get stuck in.
Yeah, definitely. Be fucking great.
Yes. And there's like some things of trauma we're not gonna like. We're really not gonna touch. Like, a lot of things with like rape and stuff like that. We're not really gonna touch that because one, men do get raped, but that's more of a feminine topic. You know what I mean? That's more of a female directed topic. You know what I mean? So like, if any females would like to give a voice on that, we're definitely, I think, open to it.
Drop a comment.
Yeah, drop a comment, hit us up, DM us. There's certain subjects we're not going to talk about because we're not going to talk about anything we haven't been through and that we really can't relate to, and that's such a touchy subject. So, any females, that want to, give a voice for those who can't give the voice, definitely hit us up. That's the area of trauma we're not really going to touch, and probably in the future at all, because that's a sensitive subject. And us as guys, we're never gonna understand that feeling. You can explain to us, we could watch it, we're never gonna understand that. Yeah. Like, all jokes, all facts, like.
And it's your choice what you want to say. We're not gonna force you to open up in some way you don't want to do that, because that's fucked up.
Like we said when we promoted this, we were gonna cover every topic. So, once we get the proper ammo to shoot the shot with that topic, we'll definitely
bang.
We'll definitely upload it. But that's for anybody that's curious about that, we're not talking about certain subjects due to our gender just alone.
Yeah, we don't want to speak on something we're uneducated about, because then you're just looking like a fucking fool, and we don't want to be wasting your time, and we don't want to be wasting our time.
Facts. But any females and anybody who wants us to touch a certain subject, we're always promoting, we're always listening. I check my comments, likes every day, my DMs every day. You have my phone number, text me about it. You have Kane's phone number, you hit him up,
Yeah, bro. I'm down for whatever. You know where the fuck to find me. I ain't hiding underneath a rock or some shit. It may seem like that sometimes. But it's Straight to the Point podcast, episode 6.
And this is Trauma Part 1. It's your boy Young Cupid, all love. Thank you for cooperating with us. I know we start releasing every 2 weeks, but like I said, nothing but quality's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, only greatness is due, man. And it may not be greatness 1 week and next week, but guess what? It's double the greatness every 2 weeks.
We
Niggas,
always
I'm
get
the program.
fucking stuck in, yo. Straight to the point podcast, episode 6. Peace.
We out.